G'day guys, and welcome back to another video with Enno from Fantasy Tag TV. Today is the day, the last final team update. Less than, well, by the time this goes up, 24 hours until round one, which is really exciting. I would have just uploaded or today during the day a podcast that we did with Dr. SuperCoach, me and JD and then Pistol and Cheezo over there. It's a lot of fun. We delved into a lot of good things just heading into round one. Discussing templates, so between our community and theirs, structure differences, and we discuss a whole lot of picks. So look, it's a long one, an hour and 45, but honestly, I think it's probably worth a listen if you need some last minute cramming or just opinions on some things between two really great communities. Those guys over there. You get into this thing, especially in your own community, meet JD, George, all us guys in the Discord that it's sort of an echo chamber. That's obviously the word for it. And when you get differing opinions from other guys, it really makes you think, and it's good for yourself. So give it a listen. And there's only a day to go. So really excited. But I'll run through the team here. I actually did make some changes over the last day or so. And after talking to those boys, it sort of rang true with the structure that I want to go into this year with. So. Look, I've got Tom Stewart at D1. This can be either Crisp or Lloyd, and at this stage, I want Stewart out of those three. I know the Liz Frank injury that he suffered last year is a concern, but to me, it's not. He looked really good in that first practice game. The concern for me is that he missed the second one because his wife is due a baby, and she still is due a baby as far as I know, so he may still miss round one. But if he does, Look, Chris will be locked out, but I'm totally okay with swapping to Lloyd, who plays later than Stewart. So if he doesn't play, I think I'll just go straight to Jake Lloyd in that position. Jordan Ridley, look, I think JD's fully convinced me on this one. I started Ridley last year and got overs on what we thought we'd get from him the first month with that crazy average, but I think he lands somewhere around 105 this year, and maybe he has the upside to go more that JD's, talking about, but I think he does have great scope this year, playing a lot more loose. Maybe he doesn't get as much ball, which is my worry. His disposal count with McGrath going back there, Heppel, Redmond, all those guys. But I still think his intercepting will go up, and that's where you score. You can score some really, really quick points as an interceptor. So I like Jordan Ridley. Shorty, I've pretty much just locked in all pre-season. I don't think any more needs to be said on him. Same with Whitfield. Those two just present really good value and allow you to do things with your team elsewhere. George Hewitt's one that's just risen all the way up to the top for me as far as that sort of really value pick. He's way ahead of Sicily, in my opinion. I think he has the scope to be a sort of D6 to D8 at the end of the year, and in that case, we'll stay on your side all year. Worst case, I think he averages in the low 90s, and you flip him at some stage, which obviously using a trade is not what isn't ideal, but I think there's a fair chance he ends up as a keeper. And then the three rookies, McCartan, I think we have to go with. Just has probably the best scoring potential out of all the available defender rookies that we know of, and look, I do worry with him a little bit just about his history and lack of footy, but. I think we've got to go with him for now. Hinge is the one I think I'm going to go with over Gibcus. Gibcus, just to get named as a debutant, but I just don't think he has great scoring potential, whereas Hinge has shown that. Yes, there's worries that he may get injured in his shoulder that he's had reoccurring issues with, but I think I'll rather pick him. He's got more upside, or scope to score more points, and at this elevated 170, 180k range, you really do need to score some decent points. So, look, if it all goes wrong and he gets injured, I'm happy to swap him to a Gibcus, and maybe even you get a Wilmot or a Sin, or even an O'Driscoll, depending on when that would be. But at this stage, I think I'll just be picking Hinge and probably just plonking him on the bench. Maybe start him over McCartan. We'll wait and see. And then DeConning, hopefully he gets named. There's no guarantees there. If he doesn't, that does throw up a bit of worry, because you can't find the cash for Gibcus easily. You can't really go anywhere else with this. So I'm not too sure, but at this stage, I'll just pick DeConning and wait and see for the teams. We'll go down to the midfield, make sure we keep the rest out. Jack McRae and Tuke Miller now have dropped Jack Steele. That was a big thing. You know, I was trying to hold on to those three big mids for so long. It just doesn't feel right starting any less than like 4 or 5 big dogs as we have in the past for 5 or 6 years at least. It feels like for me. So I think 1 year, 2019, I went as deep as like 7. Like a couple of them were mid prices, like Libber and Brad Crouch. But anyway, look, it doesn't feel right, but that's just what this year's thrown up. And I think out of the 3 of McRae, Tuke and Steele, I think McRae and Tuke for me are just ahead. I know the opening Saints fixture is really nice for Steele, but he doesn't have a lot of support there at the moment, and he has shown some, the ability to drop a poor game here and there. And I know Paul probably is like a 90, but these other 2, they just didn't drop below 105 for like the whole season. I know Tuke, I think he had 1 or 2 early, and then after, I think McRae only had 1 sub 100 all year. So it shows these guys are probably going to be harder to get. That they'll stay around the high 600s for a long time, whereas Steele has the chance maybe to drop. It probably won't be early, but maybe later on. Lockie Neal, I think we all locking in just at that price. We know what a bad year he had last year, bad run with injuries. He'll bounce back. Matty Rowe's obviously the one I got in for Jack Steele and allowed me to shore up the defence. So I think I was okay avoiding Rowe, but it just seems a little risky because he does have the upside of going 105 to 110, which I don't think is very likely. But look, I think he lands somewhere in the 90s, maybe high 90s, maybe just gets the 100. And look, obviously that is a great pick at his price. It's not one that will kill you not owning, but I just really like the way he looked on Monday. I mean, look back to his best, and it came out that he was going through osteitis pubis last year, which is a very hard injury to play through. So I don't really know why he's playing through that, but anyway, he didn't look himself, but he's looking really good this preseason. And then that allows me to have both him and Berry, which I believe Berry will have an even easier chance of making money. Obviously not as good a player as Rail, or won't be playing full inside like him, but I think obviously he doesn't have to average as much. And I think we'll be able to get the 150k out of Berry quite easily as long as he doesn't get injured. Then we finish out with Horn Francis, Dacos, and Ward, and I think that's pretty standard across the board. And then Dill Stevens on the bench. McEntee, I think plays. I think I'm pretty confident in that for Port. I know Robbie Gray, I think, is going to get up, but I think he's ahead of Mead, and he's sort of locked down that other small forward role. So again, wait on teams, much like Connor McDonald. We've got to wait on teams for there. I think a lot expect him to play, but I don't think it's a total guarantee. So that's the midfield, and then we quickly go down to the rucks. So I'll go with Darcy and Grundy, and I was Darcy and Gawn for a long time, which is, I know, a pretty left field selection, but if you go Gawn, you got to lock yourself out early. I know that doesn't seem like you should care about, but to me, the 30k between him and Grundy allowed me to get Hinge, to get up to Stewart, that sort of things like that I just feel more comfortable with. I think Grundy's due a big year anyway. I don't, Gawn I think will be pretty good, but at this stage I want to go Sean Darcy over him, and I know it's a big risk, not one that people are willing to take, but for me, I think we have decent enough ruck cover. While it's not great, Hugh, Dixon, and we, I think we get Dixon, but we may not even get Hayes. I think it's enough, and look, I think he'll put at least 10 points on the other 2 guys, so it's a risk I'm willing to take. And then Jack Hayes on the bench. Hopefully we get him. Not too sure there. At this stage, it probably depends on Ryder, and depends if the Saints want to run all 3 at once, or if he's just in and out of the team, depending on matchups, stuff like that. And now we move down to the forwards, and this is the big one where Dunkley, Butters, Cogs, all locks, don't really need speaking about. I've chosen McGovern as the other mid-pricer. And then I think Cherry is an absolute lock, provided he gets named in the ruck, which I think he will. But it's Durden. So it's Durden over Rochelle, and Rochelle's the one I've had to drop to get this team, and I don't hate it. Like, Rochelle looked really, like, don't get me wrong, he looked awesome in the preseason, kicked 3 goals in both games, provided they were both in pretty heavy losses or losses. So it's hard for me to expect him to, and he's 180k again, like you give, like people are saying, let's avoid Gibcus because he's, you know, really high price and he doesn't have great scope. But I think Rochelle almost fits in the same boat. Like, he might have a big spike game, you know, at some point, and then maybe we'll have to find a way to get him in. But at this stage, I don't think Durden will be too far behind him in average. I really liked what I saw from Durden in the first preseason game, and even the first quarter until he got a calf knock. So it's not an injury concern that you should be worried about with him. You know, it's just a calf knock. They took him off, preserved him for round one, which shows that he's really important to him, and I think he'll do quite well. Then we've just got Nick Martin and Hugh Dixon running out the bench. We'll have to wait and see on Nick Martin. This does require, obviously, a couple of 102k rookies, this team. But hopefully we know about these before the weekend starts. And look, worst case scenario, I might have to drop maybe a Stewart to a crisp to find a little bit of cash to get them up. So that's the team, guys. Of course, it could change in the next 24 hours. There's no doubt about that. But yeah, I will post on Twitter the final teams. We are streaming on Wednesday for the first game of the season, so you won't miss it there. But yeah, if I don't catch you guys anywhere until round one, good luck for the year, and yeah, leave a comment down below what you're thinking about in your team, what differences you might have, any picks you want to ask a question about, and I'll get back to you. So thanks for watching, guys.